Hey guys, welcome back to the Untrained Unprofessional Workbench. I'm Nobody. Thanks for watching. And if you're subscribed or a recent viewer, I want to thank you guys, for putting that trust in me and enjoying the hopefully enjoying the content as much as I'm enjoying actually learning about the things that I have done. So, but today wanted to do a video on the upgrades that I've done to the 5-inch Prodigy. So, if you watched one of the last videos about the pile of parts, the pile of parts now is all the old stuff, which you can see up here at the top of the screen. So, everything is now in the Prodigy, and wanted to go over some of the things that I have done, and also some things that I still have to do to it. So, first and foremost, I did some touchy-feely stuff to it. So, I watched, or I guess I should say, I ordered the, off of the 10A Performance website, the Duty Tune video that Hilton produced. And I liked a lot of what he was doing, and part of it was just, dehorning slide frame, to make it a little nicer on the hands where you don't have any sharp edges. So went through, dehorned, did some things to it, which some of you might think, it's like, yeah, you got some shiny spots and, that's kind of ugly. I will refinish this. I have yet to decide whether I'm just going to Cerakote it myself, which I can do. I have Cerakoted quite a few things. Or I might send it out to have like a DLC on it. So, but I have no clue what DLC costs, and so that might influence my decision on what ultimately happens to it. So that's the first thing. The other thing that I did, which I didn't really plan on until basically the night before I was going to sit down and actually work on this, was that this front Allen screw here on the grip module, I never really liked the Allen because the Allen ends up rounding and you have to have two of them and the whole 9 yards. So, and I was having issues with this, so I actually took a little small cutting wheel and I cut a slot in it so that way I can fit a flathead screwdriver in. So, no special tool. You can always find a flathead. Well, I don't know. Sometimes I can't find a flathead when I need a flathead, but more readily available versus a small Allen. So, went ahead and cut slots on both sides, and I would say that is something that I have really appreciated, after I did it. I would like to replace this Allen with either a flathead or a Phillips, preferably a flathead, so that way I can keep it uniform, hopefully be able to use the same screwdrivers. But that is yet to be done. Other things that I am going to continue to modify on is the trigger. I have ordered a Atlas Gunworks short trigger and bow, and that is based off a hand size. I'm in that weird kind of size where the palm of my hand wants to be in the large, but yet I have short stubby fingers, and so it wants to be a medium. And if I get a large, I just have these big flappy things up on the front. So, but it seemed like the short trigger would be the best for that. So we'll find out. Wouldn't be the first time I've ordered a part and said, hey, that doesn't work, and I have to order a different part. So, yet to be done on this. Actually, no, that is not true. Sorry for reaching across the camera. So, I ordered this Wilson Combat slide stop, and it is it doesn't work for the 2011. So pay attention to what you get. Let's see what else. The firing pin stop, I have figured out that it's actually pretty loose on this slide, so I'm going to be replacing that with a Wilson Combat and hopefully be fitting it to the channel, and that way it'll keep the new extractor that I put in from clocking ever so slightly, because there is enough wiggle room in it front to back that I think it could have extractor consistency issues and slightly side to side. So those are the things that I have ordered or will order. Yet to determine if I'm going to replace the magazine release. I did modify this one to function a little bit better in the frame, and I'll go over that. So let's go ahead and get into parts that I have replaced. Ambi safety went with the Wilson Combat bulletproof wide lever, and as you can see, there is quite a difference in how much meat is on that lever. So really like how this one feels so far. I've yet to shoot this and really test it to make sure that I didn't screw anything up. I'm sure there is something that I am going to have to fix. So because that is just my life, I go to Home Depot or Lowe's like 5 or 6 more times than I usually want to, because I always forget something or didn't do something right. So I'm sure that'll happen on this. So, but the thumb safety, super nice, very smooth. I did go ahead and take some material off of where this little detent rounds that corner there, so that way it is a better feel for the actuating. It's not super crisp. You know, when I have to do it, it's just nice and smooth, but yet positive, if that makes sense. So I still have to on this, because this is still a work in progress, and I'm not completely done with this. On the inside here, there's a little groove where the hammer pin comes across. On the Wilson Combat, they send you a new hammer pin, and it has a little screw that rides in a channel that you have to fit into it. And I still have to Loctite that in place and adjust the tension and everything. And hopefully that'll take out a little bit of that little bit of wiggle room that I have here. If not, you know, I don't shoot left-handed. Doesn't affect the performance of it. Still feels nice and positive, but still have that to do. So whether this will fit with a Safariland holster, I don't know, so that is a consideration. I might have to go thinner if I ever go with a Safariland with an ALS, but we'll cross that bridge when I get there. Let's see, what else? Let's talk about some of the obvious things. So, recoil spring and 2-piece guide rod replaced. Went with the Dawson Precision toolless, which I can tell you this makes field stripping so much nicer. It does come with a new guide rod, housing, bushing, whatever the technical term is. But I had to use the factory one, which is fine. It doesn't impede performance at all. And also replace the recoil spring. So I decided, instead of going with the 9-pound, I'm going with a 10-pound Wilson Combat. So, and that in my mind was just to make sure that when it chambers, it has a little bit of extra oomph to chamber the rounds a little more firm. So, firmification. So, firm, yes. So, chambers around better, more gooder. So, but yeah, that was worth it. I like that. Let's see what else. So I went with the bulletproof firing pin. So, and that was a Wilson Combat. Also swapped out to the Extra Power Wolf firing pin spring. I swapped out the mainspring to a 19 pound. Also, which I guess it's more of this pile of pieces here. This is the 10-8 Performance Hardened Pin Set, which these are mostly the... So take out the ones that I didn't swap out. So swapped out all... Oh, come on, little guy. Come on, who's your friend? Yeah, buddy. All right, so swapped out to the hardened pin set from 10-8 Performance. So those are all my factory guys. Now this is the hammer pin that I was telling you about, that if you go with the Wilson Combat Ambi, you won't need that. So just keep that for future reference, or just in case parts. And let's go. So factory disconnector, sear, and hammer all swapped out to EGW. Hammer strut swapped out to the titanium hammer strut by EGW. And I chose the titanium because it was a lot more fun to say versus stainless steel. So that's literally my decision-making process. I'm sure the fact that titanium is lighter and stronger had nothing to do with it. So, extractor swapped out to the Wilson Combat bulletproof extractor. And slide stop. So this slide stop is probably the one that I was more surprised by on the impact that it would make on the upgrades. And the main reason why on this is two things. One, which I already knew about, you know, when you engage the slide stop on the factory, it has this nice rounded edge on the bottom that you have to get purchase on to push up. Granted, it's not super hard, but you know, it feels like you kind of struggle against it, which I've never liked that. But the main thing that I've liked about the new slide stop, which this is a 10-8 Performance slide stop, it has this hollow ground out underneath, so your thumb actually has some place to lock in and actually push up on. But the tolerances between the two is a lot tighter on the 10-8 Performance because this is a machined part, where this is a cast or MIM piece. And what I was getting is on my slide to frame fit, and I noticed this when I first got it, is that I had quite a bit of back and forth play that I did not have on the 4 1/4 Prodigy. So that one locks up a lot better. It was a lot more noticeable. So didn't seem to affect the performance of the 5-inch. But it was just one of those things where I was trying to, or I got to the point where I was trying to figure out how I can get slide fitting bars to fit in and to where I can actually adjust and fit the frame and the slide better. And the challenge I was having was how to support this frame to be able to do the fitting. And I reached out to 10-8 Performance, and Hilton was kind enough to respond, and I asked him, you know, what he suggested, and basically, you know, it's like it came down to the, you know, the bang isn't worth the buck. So at least not at this point. So just go out and shoot it, enjoy it, and so forth. And there was nothing to really support. So I would be forced to either custom engineer, you know, something temporary, or commission someone to build something, which is just not feasible. I could buy a new gun probably. But what I found is once I installed the 10.8 Performance slide stop, it eliminated most of that play. And the reason is because of the tolerances of the part. And so I believe Hilton says this is a 0.120 diameter shaft here, where this I was measuring anywhere from a 196 to a 198 on different aspects. So now that this is kind of worn in, I'm actually sitting at 199 on the 10.8 Performance. But that really eliminated a lot of the play in the slide and the frame. And the other thing that I think is what is going on is that the shaft is ever so slightly longer than the factory. And I believe that allows this to just come through. Here, that's bad camera angle. Let's try not to do this from upside down. This pops through on the frame ever so slightly, or probably a couple thousandths, 3 to 5 thousandths is my guesstimate. I haven't put a caliper on it, to where it fits more into the frame, where I think on the factory part, and you can see by where it is wearing, that it was just barely getting in there, so it was allowing more play. So that's my guesstimate on that. So, but very, very pleased with the 10.8 Performance slide stop. It is my biggest surprise, my most enjoyable part that I installed, because it gave me the most benefit out of the work that I was doing. So, yeah, buy that 10.8 with confidence. Let's see, already talked about extractor pins. Okay, so other thing that I did was I bought a finish reamer just so I could check the chamber tolerances and take care of any issues that there may be. Because for the most part, shooting this, it has been fairly good. Really haven't had too many issues with chambering. Could tell that the chamber was a little tight, but not anywhere that was needed to where I was having a bunch of failure to feeds like some people were. So, but I ordered a Climber finish reamer and took out some material, so it was a little bit tighter than what spec should be. And I will go ahead and post some pictures here. All right, there we go. So you can see the material that I took out. I did not go as far as I probably should have with running the reamer, and my thought process behind it is that I can always take out more. So, but wanted to stop slightly short, and I went ahead and polished everything back up, and I will get out and test it because I have yet to shoot this. So whether I did everything correctly or not is still up in the air. So, but everything so far seems to work and function and so forth. So we're super close. Now, one of the last things that I did was on the mag release, and I did this because I was getting a little bit of stickiness on the mag release, but nothing too crazy. But I went ahead and polished this up and smoothed it out, and also here on the inside of the mag release, so your magazine runs right here, the front of the magazine, right here on this curvature, I went ahead and just took out a little bit more material. And that was because I noticed that if I pressed on the mag release too hard, the magazine would kind of bind up a little bit. And so what was happening is that this was actually putting pressure on the magazine and stopping it from coming out. So now that that was adjusted, and nice thing is it didn't take that long. It takes longer to find the tools, the little files that you need to do it. It helps if you turn this the right way to release. But now I can fully press it and it will slide in. So I got that thing full on pressed in as far as it will go. And she slides out just fine. So, well, that is all she wrote, guys. So I'll go ahead and do another video once I get back from Thanksgiving and everything, and hopefully I have the additional parts in and installed, so that would be nice to do a final wrap-up. But we'll see how she functions and if I need to adjust anything else. So, but thanks for watching. I appreciate your patience and me getting the time to do all this. It's one of the joys of working a real job, is that you got to find time to do extra stuff. So, but thanks again. Appreciate you watching, and if you're new to the channel, hopefully you subscribe, or at least for like 5 minutes. That'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.